2 a.m., rain hitting my face like gravel. I jammed the key into the lock again. Nothing. It scraped against metal that wasn't there a week ago. I pulled it out, looked at the serrated edge, then looked at the door. My door, the one I painted navy blue 3 months ago. Now it had a shiny new deadbolt, gold, tacky, and locked tight. Inside, the living room light flicked on. I saw movement through the frosted side panel. A shadow. Then a face pressed against the glass. It wasn't my wife. It was a guy, lanky, greasy hair, wearing my charcoal bathrobe. He was holding my world's okayest golfer mug. He took a sip, made eye contact with me, and smirked. I didn't think. I didn't breathe. I kicked the door. Boom. "Open it!" I roared, the sound tearing through the quiet suburban street. "Open the damn door!" The guy flinched, spilling coffee on his chin. He turned and yelled back into the house. "Yo, Maya, he's actually kicking it." Maya, my blood turned into gasoline. I kicked it again, harder. The frame shuddered. "Maya, I swear to God, if you don't open this door in 3 seconds, I'm putting a brick through the window." Locks clicked. 1, 2, 3. 3 locks? The door cracked open, held by a chain. Maya's face appeared in the gap. She didn't look scared. She looked annoyed, like I was a telemarketer interrupting her favorite show. "Nick," she hissed, "stop screaming. You're embarrassing us." "Embarrassing us?" I laughed, a short, jagged sound. "Who is that in my robe? Why is my key dead? I've been gone for 6 days." "That's Caleb, my brother. You know him." "I know he's a thief and a junkie. Why is he wearing my clothes inside my house?" "It's our house," she corrected instantly, her voice dropping to that cold lecture hall tone she used when I forgot to take out the recycling. "And right now, my family needs it more than you do. We changed the locks because I didn't feel safe." My jaw dropped. "Safe? I was in Chicago. I was working to pay for this place." "Safe from your toxicity, Nick, from your financial abuse, constantly checking receipts, complaining about the grocery bill. My mother couldn't take the stress anymore. We needed a sanctuary, a reset." She looked me dead in the eye. "You need to leave. Stay at a hotel. Give us space to heal." "Heal," I shouted, grabbing the edge of the door. "I pay the mortgage. I pay the electric. I pay for the food Caleb is eating right now. Open this door." "No." She slammed it. I heard the deadbolt slide, then the top lock, then the bottom one. I stood there, staring at the wood grain, adrenaline shaking my hands so bad I could barely hold my phone. Heal. Sanctuary. My phone buzzed in my wet pocket. A notification. Chase Bank fraud alert. Transaction declined. $4,200 sorry is at rooms to go. I swiped the screen, water dripping onto the glass. Another one. Approved. $1-800 at Best Buy. Approved. $650 at the steakhouse downtown. Approved. $300 at Liquor Barn. ATM withdrawal. 800 Ds all in the last 48 hours. While I was on a plane, they weren't healing, they were looting. I didn't call the cops, not yet. I dragged my suitcase down the driveway, the wheels clattering on the pavement. I called an Uber, my fingers slipping on the wet screen. 10 minutes later, I was pounding on Brad's door. Brad opened it in his boxers, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He took one look at me, soaked, shaking, eyes wide like a maniac, and stepped aside. "Whiskey?" he asked. "Bottle," I said. I sat on his couch and laid it out. The locks, Caleb, the financial abuse accusation, the texts from Chase. Brad didn't interrupt. He's a corporate liability consultant. He fixes disasters for a living. He sat on the coffee table, leaning forward, his face hardening like stone. "Nick, listen to me," he said, his voice low. "This isn't a marital spat. This is a hostile takeover." "She said she needs space," I said, pacing the room. "She said her mom is sick. Her mom smokes 2 packs a day. She's not sick, she's broke. They all are. Maya waited until you left the state to move her pawns in. How many?" I saw Caleb. I heard voices. Maybe Tasha, Linda, the whole clan. Brad nodded grimly. "If you go back there tonight and break that door down, she calls 911. She cries domestic violence. You get arrested, she gets a restraining order, and boom, she has exclusive possession of the house for 6 months, while the courts sort it out. That's the play." I stopped pacing. "So I just let them rob me?" No, we kill the supply lines, right now, tonight. Brad grabbed my laptop from my bag. Log in, freeze everything, not just the joint account, the credit cards, the secondary savings. Does she have your passwords? Maybe. I keep them in a notebook in the desk. Change them, now. We spent the next 2 hours waging digital warfare. I marked every transaction from the last week as fraud. I canceled the cards. I moved the $14,000 from our joint savings money I'd been saving for a new roof into a fresh account at a different bank. At 4:30 a.m., my phone lit up. Maya, card declined at the gas station. Fix it. I stared at the text, the audacity. I typed back, card reported stolen, fraudulent activity detected, police report filed. 3 dots appeared instantly. Maya, you petty bastard, my mom needs medicine. Me, then she should use her own money. I'm staying at a hotel. I need my funds for my own survival since I'm homeless. I turned the phone off. It's not enough, Brad said, watching me. They're dug in. They have food, shelter, and internet. They can outweight you. Not for long, I said, a cold idea forming in the back of my mind. I pay the utilities. Wednesday morning, I borrowed Brad's car, a beat-up Ford truck that wouldn't look out of place in a construction zone. I parked 3 houses down from my place. It was worse than I imagined. My driveway looked like a used car lot. Maya's SUV, Tasha's rusted Honda, a van with a flat tire that I knew belonged to her mother, Linda, and the lawn, my front lawn, which I paid a crew $200 a month to manicure, was covered in trash. Cardboard boxes, black bags, a rusty exercise bike. Then the front door opened. Tasha walked out. She was wearing my oversized hoodie. She was carrying my gaming PC tower. My stomach dropped. That tower had my work portfolio on it. It was worth $3,000. She walked to the van and shoved it into the back seat. I gripped the steering wheel so hard the leather creaked. You thieves! You absolute roaches! I pulled out my phone and zoomed in. Click. Tasha loading the PC. Click. Linda sitting on the porch swing, smoking. Ashing directly onto the deck I had sanded and stained myself last summer. Click. The license plates. I drove straight to the lawyer's office. Mr. Henderson looked like a bulldog in a cheap suit. He smelled like old coffee and aggression. He looked at the photos, then at the bank statements. Constructive eviction, he grunted. Illegal lockout, theft of property, fraud. Get them out, I said. Today. Law doesn't work that fast, kid. Emergency order of possession takes 48 hours to file, maybe a week to serve if the docket is full. The judge will want a hearing. A week, they're selling my stuff. Then we make it uncomfortable. Henderson leaned back, steepling his fingers. You're the owner. You have a duty to maintain the safety of the property. If you suspect, say, faulty wiring or a gas leak, you have a legal obligation to shut off services to prevent a fire. I looked at him. Can I really do that? If you believe there's a hazard, absolutely. And with that many people in a house designed for 2, the electrical load must be dangerous. He winked. I walked out of there and called the power company. Immediate disconnect, safety hazard, I'm doing emergency rewiring. Then the water. Main line burst, shut it down. Then the internet. Cancel service, I'm moving. I went back to Brad's and waited. Thursday, the siege begins. 2 p.m. My phone started vibrating off the table. Maya calling, Maya calling, Maya calling. I let it go to voicemail, then the texts. Maya, what did you do? Maya, the power is out. The fridge is off. All the food is spoiling. Maya, Mom can't breathe without the AC. It's 85 degrees in here. You're trying to kill us. I took a sip of beer and typed, electrical surge detected. Had to cut power remotely to prevent a fire. Safety first. I'll send an electrician next week. Maya, next week? Are you insane? Tasha works remote. She needs Wi-Fi. Caleb's insulin is in the fridge. Me, Caleb's not diabetic, and Tasha doesn't live there. Remember, it's a sanctuary. Sanctuaries don't need Wi-Fi. Maya, I'm calling the cops. Me, go ahead. Tell them you changed the locks on the owner, and now you're mad he's doing maintenance. Silence for an hour. Then Brad walked in, looking grim. They're not leaving. What? I drove by. They ran an orange extension cord across the lawn to Mrs. Gable's house, the neighbor. You have to be kidding me. Nope. They probably gave her a sob story. Abusive husband cut us off. Old Lady Gable eats that stuff up. They have power. I threw my phone across the room. It bounced off the couch cushions. They are like cockroaches. How do you kill them? You escalate, Brad said. You stop playing defense. You go nuclear. How? Check the big stuff. The mortgage, the equity. If they're spending this much cash, where's it coming from? Your salary isn't that high? He was right. Friday, the discovery. I walked into the bank branch at 9 a.m. I sat down with a manager named Sarah. I need a full audit, I said. My wife has been making unauthorized transactions. I need to see everything connected to my social security number. Sarah typed for a minute, frowned, then typed some more. Her face went pale. Mr. Webb, are you aware of the HELOC? The what? Home equity line of credit. It was opened 5 months ago, notarized, co-signed. I never signed a HELOC. She turned the monitor. Here, is this your signature? I squinted at the digital scan. It looked like my signature, a little shaky maybe. Then I remembered, 5 months ago, a Tuesday morning, I was rushing to a meeting. Maya put a stack of papers in front of me. Just refinancing the car loan, babe. Better rate. Sign here and here. I signed. I didn't read. How much? I asked, my voice trembling. $50,000, Sarah whispered. And how much is left? 0. It was maxed out on Monday, 3 days ago. I felt the room spin. Monday, the day before I came home. Where did it go? Wire transfer, $20,000 to Caleb Verify LLC, $15,000 to Tasha Studios, and a $15,000 cashier's check made out to Maya Webb. They didn't just want a place to stay. They had cashed out my house. They had stolen 5 years of equity. This wasn't a breakup. It was a heist. Print it, I said. Print everything. I walked out of the bank with a stack of papers thick enough to choke a horse. I sat in my car and screamed. I screamed until my throat tasted like blood. Then I called Henderson. It's grand larceny, I said. They stole 50 grand. Bring me the papers, Henderson said, his voice finally sounding excited. Now we have leverage. Now we have prison time. I'm not waiting for prison, I said. I'm going over there. Nick, don't do anything stupid. I'm done being smart. Friday night. The confrontation. I pulled into my driveway at 7 p.m. I didn't park down the street. I blocked Maya's SUV in. The extension cord was still there, snaking through the grass like an orange viper. I popped the trunk. I grabbed the tire iron. I walked up the driveway. The living room curtains were open. I could see them. Linda was on the couch, watching my TV. Caleb was eating pizza out of a box on my coffee table. I didn't knock. I went to the side door, the one leading to the garage. I smashed the window. Crash! The glass shattered. The alarm started screaming. Weep, weep, weep. I reached in, unlocked it, and kicked the door open. I marched into the kitchen. The smell hit me instantly. Stale cigarettes, old pizza, unwashed bodies. Hey! Caleb scrambled off the couch, tripping over his own feet. He was wearing my boxers. What the hell? I'm calling the cops. Call them! I screamed, swinging the tire iron into the drywall. Crunch. Dust exploded. Call them right now! I want them here! Maya ran down the stairs, Tasha right behind her. Nick, are you crazy? Get out! You stole $50,000. The room went silent. Even the alarm seemed to fade into the background. Maya froze. Her face went white. I went to the bank, Maya. I saw the HELOC. I saw the transfers. Caleb Verify LLC. Really? I threw the stack of bank statements at her. Papers fluttered everywhere like confetti. That's fraud. That's grand larceny. That's 10 years in prison. You signed it, she screeched, trying to regain ground. You signed the papers. Under false pretenses. That's fraud. And the wire transfers, did I sign those? Did I say, please give your junkie brother 20 grand of my equity? Caleb stepped forward, trying to look tough. Hey man, watch your mouth. That was a business loan. I pointed the tire iron at his face. Sit down. He sat. Here is what is going to happen, I said, my voice dropping to a terrifying calm. The police are on their way. I can hear the sirens. When they get here, I am going to show them these papers. I am going to press charges against every single person in this room for fraud, theft, and conspiracy. I looked at Linda, who was clutching her chest. Even you, Linda. Complicity. Unless, Maya whispered, Unless you are gone. All of you, right now. You leave the house, you leave the keys, you leave everything that isn't yours. We can't just leave, Tasha cried. We have nowhere to go. You have $50,000, I roared. Go to the Ritz. I don't care. Get out. The sirens were loud now. Blue lights flashed against the living room walls. Maya looked at me. She looked at the papers on the floor. She looked at Caleb, who was shaking. She knew she had lost. Pack, she said. Maya, Tasha argued. Pack, she screamed, her voice breaking. Go, out the back, take the van. It was a scramble. Rats fleeing a sinking ship. They grabbed handfuls of clothes, phones, chargers. They ran out the sliding back door just as the police cruiser pulled into the driveway. Maya stopped at the door. She looked back at me. You chose money over family, she spat. I chose survival, I said. You chose to rob me. Run, Maya, before I change my mind. She ran. The police found me sitting on the stairs, holding the tire iron. Drop it! I dropped it. It's my house, I said, putting my hands up. I broke in. I lost my keys. It took 3 hours to explain. I showed them the deed. I showed them the broken window. I showed them the mess. Where is your wife? The officer asked, looking around at the trash-filled living room. She left, I said. We had an argument. She took her family and left. And the window? I locked myself out. Had to get back in. The cop looked at me. He looked at the bank statement still scattered on the floor. He knew something huge had happened here, something messy. But he saw a guy sitting in his own house, calm, with no victims around. Keep the noise down, he said finally. And fix that window. I locked the door. I shoved a chair under the handle. I was alone. The house smelled like smoke. My TV was gone. Tasha must have taken it earlier. My vinyl collection was ruined, warped, from someone spilling a soda on the box. But it was mine. I sat on the floor amidst the garbage and opened a beer I found in the fridge, one of the few things they bought. The aftermath. The divorce was brutal. Henderson used the fraud evidence like a sledgehammer. We threatened criminal charges. Maya's lawyer tried to bluster, but when we showed the wire transfers to Caleb's fake LLC, they folded. We settled out of court. Maya got nothing. No alimony, no split of the assets. She signed a quitclaim deed on the house. She assumed the full debt of the $50,000 HELOC. Good luck paying that. Back on a barista's salary. I kept the house. I kept my 401k. 6 months later, I was sanding the deck. The same deck Linda had burned with her cigarettes. I'd had to replace 3 planks. My phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. Hey, Nick, it's Caleb. Look, man, I know things got heated, but Tasha is pregnant and Mom is really sick. We're living in a motel. Maya is working double shifts and it's not enough. We really need some help, just a loan, like $500, for old time's sake. I stared at the screen. The sheer delusion, the absolute lack of shame. I remembered the rain. I remembered the smirk on his face when he was wearing my robe. I typed, Caleb Verify LLC should have plenty of capital. Ask the CEO. Block. I put the phone down and picked up the sander. The wood was smooth, clean, ready for a new coat of paint. I took a deep breath. The air smelled like sawdust and fresh-cut grass. It smelled like freedom. I turned the sander on, the roar drowning out the rest of the world, and got back to work.